MTB Metals, and then two colleagues are going to talk about the other two companies. So they're going to be very brief introductions. MTB Metals is a copper and gold exploration company. We've just made a very important discovery in one of the top mining districts in Canada. We've drilled 4 holes. We see lots of copper in the drill core. We don't have the assays yet, but the visual observations are backed up with the readings from an XRF device. So 4 drill holes, lots of copper, assays coming over the next few weeks. There we go, perfect. Okay, we have hundreds of meters of drill core that look like this. That's chalcopyrite, a copper-bearing mineral, and 4 holes out of 4 hit with lots and lots of copper in the drill holes. We're waiting for assays, but as we're waiting, we're so confident in the results that we are literally traveling around the world letting everybody know the significance of this discovery. Now, just to back up a moment, we're in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia, the west side of Canada. And the Golden Triangle is becoming a globally important mining district. Over the last 3 years, the major mining companies have invested $5 billion in this region. Our project, the Telegraph project, is located in the same area as 4 world-class deposits, all being developed by majors. So that's our project. The Galore Creek deposit here is a joint venture between Teck and Newmont. We're immediately adjacent to Teck. Teck is one of Canada's largest mining companies. The Red Chris mine is operated by Newmont, and Newmont paid $420 million to buy a junior company called GT Gold that made the discovery over here. We've got exactly the same geology as these projects all around us. So we've got exactly the same geology as 4 deposits. We've got 4 drill holes that confirm that we've got the right mineralization. We've got lots of copper, and we also know there's a lot of gold in this system. These copper deposits in this region all have gold. In fact, most of them have so much gold that they're considered gold deposits rather than copper deposits. We believe that we've got about an equal distribution of gold and copper values. Now, our objective in the drilling this year was to demonstrate that we've got the potential for a very large system. So we outlined a number of target areas. We drilled 4 separate target areas over 3-kilometer distance, and all 4 of those holes hit copper sulfide mineralization. So we've clearly demonstrated this is a very large system, and we're just now waiting for the results, the assays, to confirm that. Now, our interpretation of what we have is that we've got something very similar to Galore. And think back a couple of slides. This Galore deposit is located just to the south of us. It's a joint venture between Teck and Newmont. It has 1.2 billion tons of measured and indicated resource, 9 million ounces of gold, and 5 billion pounds of copper. That is spread over 12 separate deposits. Now, putting our area that we drilled on the same scale, you can see it looks very much like the Galore deposit. So our interpretation is that we have something that looks very much like Galore, and we need a lot more drilling yet, but this is our exploration target, is to show a Galore scale deposit. Now, we have lots of other targets on this property. The area that I showed stretches from Dock to Red Creek. So that 3 kilometers sits here. Some of our best copper grades we're actually in this area down here where we had up to 19% copper on surface, but we haven't got the drilling down that far yet. We know the trend continues all the way down to here, and in addition, we're finding copper almost everywhere we sample over this huge area. So a lot of upside potential beyond that initial discovery zone. So it's a huge system, it's very well mineralized, it's in a great location, and we're waiting for drill results, which we expect in early December, to confirm the grades on what we have so far. Now, we also have 6 other projects in the same region. We're one of the biggest property holders in this area called the Golden Triangle. We've done lots of other work on these other projects, but our main focus right now is on Telegraph. But we did drill another one down here, another copper project, and we hit there as well. So lots of news coming over the next few months. Our business model is to replicate the success of GT Gold. So if we can achieve what GT Gold did, we're currently trading at 3% of the amount that Newmont paid when they bought GT Gold. Lots of upside potential for investors here. Now, this is to show, even in a bad market for juniors, like at present, this company on October 10th announced the results of one drill hole. So they went from around 24 cents to about $1.20 over a period of a couple of weeks. So we're kind of in this zone. We've got our assays, we've got the drilling done. We'll be announcing the drill results over the next few weeks. I'm hoping this is what we can achieve. So with that, I'd like to wrap it up, turn it over to Derek Wayrosh, the President and CEO of Palladium One. Thank you.
Okay. Well done. Good afternoon, everybody. Lawrence, is this your phone? Good afternoon. Palladium One is an exploration stage company that is focused on the advancement and discovery of critical green transportation minerals. And what I mean by that are PGEs, platinum, palladium, nickel, copper, etc. We have 4 key projects, and the type of deposition that we are focusing in on hosts all of these metals. It's just as different ratios depending on the particular project. So they're used whether it's the current internal combustion engine or hybrid vehicle, or there's been lots of discussion in recent years with regards to the energy transition on the nickel and copper. We have designed the company to have large-scale projects that have the opportunity to have a significant discovery. And as a result of that, we've attracted some very large investors. Most recently was Glencore PLC. They came in earlier this year at 15 cents a share and acquired a 10% interest in the company. The other large shareholder is Mr. Eric Sprott, who owns approximately 10% of the company as well, or slightly over 10%. Because of as Lawrence was pointing out, the really challenging market conditions we have right now, and where it's really a risk-off position, our share price has come down quite a bit. We currently have a market capitalization approximately 20 million Canadian dollars. And in the bank, we have $12.5 million. So more than 50% of our market cap is actually in cash currently. So where are we? We are with 2 projects in Finland. The LK project has an existing resource of approximately 4.2 million ounces palladium equivalent. It is a combination of a couple million ounces of precious metals, nickel, copper, platinum, gold, and cobalt. It's large-scale bulk tonnage. We've drilled 5 kilometers of a 38-kilometer-long mineralized trend. So a very straightforward process to increase the scale of that project. The other 3 projects we have are different. They're not a bulk tonnage situation. We're really looking for very high-grade, massive, semi-massive sulfides. And basically a conlith or a dike system where the magma would have flown. Most recently, our efforts have been placed on the Tycho project, where during COVID we had an extremely high-grade discovery of over 10% nickel, and it's been the area of focus for the bulk of this year. And as you can see here, Tycho is large. It's about 30 kilometers end to end. We have a first discovery was at the Smoke Lake zone. We've got 48 holes in there, about 600 meters of massive sulfide, very high-grade nickel copper. And the second discovery was at the West Pickle zone. And what we've been doing is developing targets over the last 9-10 months in order to refine the geological model, which is one that suggests that those east-west trending purple colors, which are magnetic highs, are the pathways that fed the intrusion that you see up at the top of the image. And in the Yukon, slightly different system, in the interest of time, I've skipped a few slides, but we have a very interesting project that used to be part of Falconbridge. It has a historical resource of 400,000 tons, about 1.3% nickel. For some reason, they never reported the copper. And it was very shallowly drilled, but importantly, the footwall deposit is completely unexplained. We believe, based on the geophysics results that we have, that there are some plates that are a little bit deeper seated, and we're hoping to drill those targets probably at the end of the winter, end of March, April timeframe, and target massive sulfides that may be deposited at the base of this intrusion. And this is just a snapshot and a summary of the existing resources that we have in Finland. So fundamentally, we're well capitalized, large-scale projects, and we have a history of exploration success with this team. The project here that you see KS in the big box, it's about 20,000 hectare package. And again, it's large scale pathway sitting in Finland. Based on the metal in the sulfide material at LK, this could have some very high value rock. It's running at around 3 ounces of precious metal, 10% nickel, 14% copper in situ. Thank you very much. I'll pass it off.
Testing? Okay. Thanks, Derek. And I'm Peter Ball, CEO of Silver Hammer. Happen to be the largest shareholder of the company. We're entering towards like a transformational period in the company. I joined in March of this year, and the goal was to become a producer. Cash is king, but cash flow is kind of King Kong. So we want to get cash. We want to find an asset that we can bring to production as fast as we possibly can. When I joined, we have 3 projects, all 3 previous producers in Idaho and Nevada. Really interesting projects, but farther away from production. So recently, at the end of September, we announced the acquisition of the Shafter mine, which I'll get into in a couple of seconds. I'll run through the management team. We're fairly tight after a couple of years. Trading, we have about 54 and change million shares outstanding. We kind of like silver, what's going to happen over the next few years, and positioning the company with a silver opportunity, specifically production. This is our cap structure. Again, 54 million out, market cap, give or take 7.5 to 12 million, depending on what day it is. We're currently halted. We're going to be halted until this transaction is completed, which will be completed probably in January. Lots of moving parts as we take over ourselves. So again, September 28th, this is the only mine in Texas. It's been around since the 1870s. It's one of the highest grade silver projects from the US back in the day. $160 million has been invested in this project. 10 years ago, pretty much to the year, in 2011, 12, and 13, a company called Orcana owned it. They bought it for $25 million US. They put $50 million into it. We're buying it for about $800,000 and some shares of our company. And I'm going to show you the team. In order to put an old asset that people viewed back in the day that probably had some issues, you got to have the right team. So I'm going to talk about the team in a second. Again, it has a shaft, hoist. $50 million was put into a brand new portal decline. It is fully permitted, water rights. It has an operating process facility or mill, underground infrastructure. It's got power on site. It's right next to a paved highway, supportive community. It has a nice high-grade resource currently in place. Again, it starts at surface and gets down to about 1,000 feet at depth. The source of this deposit was never found, so we got to bring in the right team. So over my 35-year career, I've had the opportunity of not only running a few silver companies, but also working with most of these individuals. So the three mics at the top of the page here were either VP of Hecla, VP of Mag, VP of Probe, Hud Bay, and they put in probably 40 or 50 mines in their career. Adrian McNutt is one of the top senior metallurgical process engineers in the US. So I said, hey guys, let's go down to Texas, look at this asset and see if we can get this thing into production. They said, everything's currently sits in place. We'll just fix it and we'll turn it on in the next couple of years. And then if you're gonna have and looking after and exploring a silver project, Don Byrack, who used to be the ex-senior VP of Coeur, AngloGold Ashanti, and Hud Bay, Ron Burke, ex-senior VP of Silver Standard, and the international world guru of CRD, or carbonate replacement deposits, is Dr. Peter McGaw. He is known globally as the best. If you're gonna look at a CRD deposit, specifically this type, he's one of the gentlemen that you wanna look at. Lots of drilling, 466,000 feet. We understand the geometry of the deposit. We understand what's happening. We understand where to look. And again, the source, the chimney, or the feeders have never been found. It just didn't show up. So we're going to go after it with, I call it the Ron Don and Peter McGaw show, and look for the next parts or additional zones within it. A great resource to have an initial mine life, as we feel, the 8 to 10 years, which we'll put a new mine plan in next year. Interesting thing is we're in the right district. Lots of world-class silver deposits are in the same area as this project. There is a border between the United States and Mexico, but geology doesn't understand borders. So we're in the right area to potentially expand a project like this. Interesting holes off the project to the southwest of interesting high-grade gold and also silver. We feel as we head to the southwest, there's some really good opportunities to find additional shafters as we move south. We're starting to do all the check marks of evaluating, looking at the asset, doing a new mine plan, ripping it apart, putting it back together. We'll build a mine plan next year, and over the next 2 to 3 years, we'll have it back into production and have a good mine life. It's a quick snapshot of our company. Again, I tell everybody, I get back to everybody within a couple hours. If you have any questions, our booth is out here. Come take a look, have some questions, and I really appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you very much.
Vielen Dank. Thank you very much for your presentations.